Three guys sitting in a dark room that smells like bad cucumbers.
Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Inconceivable!
Now featuring 11 listeners.
This is the Unique Geek.
You slimy scumbag, get on your face and give me 25.
This is the Unique Geek.
And welcome to another edition of 50 Days of DragonCon, the podcast that is hosted by over 50s and nowhere near as many 50s of days are there.
Yes.
And joining me, as always, is we'll just like to call her the age like a fine wine Lee.
Oh, I like that one. Thank you. Instead of my old broken body, Lee. That works.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
John, do you
Yes.
know it's like a week and a half as we're doing this?
Yeah, as we record this, that is accurate. My camera for some reason is way up high.
And it's just kind of like hitting me because, yeah. Is it hitting you? Because you'll be on a plane in 9 days?
We'll see.
Oh, we'll see. Yeah, because
Hey.
folks,
It's Sarah Rose in the audience again.
Hi, Sarah Rose. I was in the wrong place. Oops. Hi, everybody. So glad you're here. Just be careful between now and then. And if you can get your COVID boosters, do so. Helps you and helps everybody else around you. But yeah, we're kind of broken. So, and it's kind of funny, John, right before this podcast, and if people are watching, they can see it. My glasses went boom.
No.
Yeah, seriously. So I got like half of the glasses.
The PAL family does want everyone to know that the app is up and populated.
Oh, wow. Okay, folks, the app is up. It is populated. Guess what? That don't mean it's final. There are still things that may change. There are still things that may move around. And so just be prepared for that. I would also tell people to start being prepared, break in any shoes you have, and start good hydration and trying to eat well now. Because probably for those 5 days, you're not going to eat as well as you should. And I will tell you, though, no cheesy poofs. Cheesy poofs are not a food, are not a meal at DragonCon. I like cheesy poofs, and they are awesome. But yes, but what did the audience say, John? I can't read it. I only got like half a glass.
They're just backing you up on the booster stuff.
On the booster stuff, yay!
And then, but then Brandon just want to know if Lee is the talent. Does that mean John is the looks?
No, John's the he called me the talent, and he's the producer or back
at all. I have no recollection of that whatsoever.
It's like last year for the extract thing. It was a long time ago. And actually I had tried to take that out of my name, so I'm gonna call DragonCon and see if I can. Oops. I didn't really notice it until I got my schedule. So it's just kind of crazy. And it's kind of crazy in our house. My son has a new friend, and he is I think I might have said this already, but introducing her to Star Trek, the universe. And it was like, I was like, what are you starting with? What are you starting with? And he was like, I'm starting with Discovery, because you don't got to know any of the backstory. But we have 3 guests that do know the backstory about Star Trek and love to talk about it. Want to say hello to one of my friends, Sue Kissenwalther. I hope I said that right. I know
close enough.
It's Sue. It's Sue W. No, Sue K. You'll love her. And Nayar and Kavura, who I know them as the Blue Andorians, because that's what I see them as. Hi, guys.
Hi. Yes,
Hi,
we have the Andorians on as our picture on Facebook. Everyone loves it.
Well, and it's kind of funny because I just noticed when I was looking at, I guess, your Facebook page, that you guys are going to do, you actually costume like all the DragonCon. You don't just do Blue Andorians.
Right. We do different cosplays every day. Yes.
Every
year.
day. Wow. And you don't try to throw in any of those last minute cosplays like so many cosplayers try to do, because you're already like set.
We planned them. Yes, we have them all
Yes.
planned out. Yes.
I do. I know somewhere there is a cosplayer who's like, I bet I could. Oh, that show just came out. I bet I could. I bet I could. So I'm hoping to see a lot of dinner in the dungeon. Well, I hope that's right. Dining in the dungeon, whatever it was, which is a popular anime and now is a series on Netflix. I hope to see a lot of those cosplays because they'll be so cute. And Sue, so you're doing panels.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. You got lots of panels.
Oh, not that many. Only
Oh, really?
11.
Only 11. Sure. Please remember the rules, Sue. Eat
Yes.
2 meals, sleep and hydrate.
621.
6 to 1. And yes. And if you do take medications, take your medications, folks. Don't share your medications. No. That's a bad idea.
Correct.
Unless it's somebody who is asking for Tylenol and you take it out of the plastic and all of that crap. So, Sue.
Yes, ma'am.
Sue. How long have you been coming to DragonCon?
Oh, 14 years?
Wow.
I think this
Okay.
is 14. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. And how about you guys?
I know.
Well,
I've been coming for just over a decade. I think this is going to be my 12th year.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, this will be my 33rd year. I've
Oh,
been coming
30?
since 91. Yeah.
Okay. So, and it started in That was like the
87, I think.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
something like that, really? Okay.
Well, we know.
Maybe. I know there's notes somewhere. I could look at that.
Oh, you
But
keep going.
wow,
Wonderful.
33 years?
Yeah, I mean, and it's
Wow.
always been fun, and I've seen it grow too. I was there before they started having the Trek track, and before they actually started having these actor celebrity guests. But yeah,
Yes.
it's always been fun.
It has always been fun. And I started, I think it was the year of X-Files or the first year of X-Files or the year after, because at that point it was on Memorial Day weekend. No, not Memorial Day. Memorial Day weekend. That's the one in May. And I remember being like all excited about it, and I was going to find people, and it was like it was only in one hotel at that point. It was all in the Hilton. And then when it expanded to 3, it all went whoosh, 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 whoosh.
87 was
kinda
the
cool.
first year, by the way.
87. Okay, thank you. Thank you for looking that up, dear. See, that's why he's the producer. That's why he has all these tips and figures, and he knows
That's
how to
why
go
I'm the
from
looks. I thought we agreed to that. Just a while ago.
and the looks, the looks and the producer. I'm good with that. So I want to ask Sue, please tell us about I think you might have more than one, but tell us about your main podcast that we're on today to talk about Star Trek.
Not anymore. Just the one these days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I co-host and produce Women at Warp, a Star Trek podcast. We explore. Oh well, the tagline is intersectional diversity in infinite combinations. So that was a
love it.
cat that jumped across my screen.
Hi, Katie. Hi, Katie. If your name is Kirk or Spock, I'm gonna giggle.
This is Esmeralda Weatherwax. So Discworld cat.
Esmeralda Weatherx. Is that from Discworld?
Yes, it is.
I
just
okay.
did my hair the wrong
What,
way.
what about the other kitty over there in the corner?
That's Oswin. She's the Doctor Who cat.
Yeah.
Tilly is on the couch. She's the Star Trek cat.
Which one?
Tilly.
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 Oh, that's awesome. Tilly.
But-
We love Tilly. Okay, so sorry. Women Who Warp.
Women at Warp, intersectional diversity, infinite combinations. We explore the franchise through a feminist lens, and we look at episodes and characters and themes. And we are we're in our 9th year,
Wow.
which is 9 years so far. Yeah.
Okay.
More is that it?
Which-
wow, 9 years. That's kind of crazy. Yeah.
You've been doing that for so long. Have there been more series that are more feminine positive than other
God.
series?
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah,
So
one
the
of-
original series, A1, right?
Yeah, they want. Yeah.
actually one of the Well, my co-host Jara has done the Bechdel-Wallace test across all of the
Yeah.
series, and the analysis
Oh.
of it is actually really interesting. And you see it, steadily go up in the pre-streaming series until Enterprise, and then it drops right back down again. And then,
Oh,
but
that's so sad that again we're pissing on Enterprise.
well,
I
it's-
don't mean to.
there is some very good science fiction in Enterprise, but
There
it is
is.
not the most forward thinking in other ways.
That is true.
But yeah, the streaming era has been a lot different in and also the test has become more nuanced. But I would point you to trekkiefeminist.com for that analysis, because that's where
Okay,
she has it all posted.
TrekkieFeminist.com. I'm a
Yeah.
going. Well, I also think, and we'll get right to Nayar and Kavura. I also think that, and I've seen it in DragonCon Guest, is that they grew up as fans. The writers and now the producers, and yeah, they're old like John and I, or older. And we're at Generation X now. The baby boomers aren't the ones producing this, so they grew up with a lot of this, and they're seeing it. And I got to tell you, Discovery for me, I was just amazed. I loved it. They kicked it out of the park in some ways, but yeah, I just absolutely adored it. So, sorry, that was me. But my favorite is still DS9. Best writing in Star Trek. Okay, so Nayar and Kavura, how about you guys? When did you start what's your name? You have 2 podcasts I know of. So what are their names and when did you start?
So we have 2. First of all, we are longtime Starlog magazine readers, and when we were dating, we would talk about Starlog magazine, and that's one of the things that united us. We're like, boy, this was our internet where we grew up. We were able to find out about TV shows, movies, conventions, just everything. And
TV Guide, yes.
we were encouraged to actually start a podcast because we have a lot of knowledge of everything from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. So what we do for the past 6 years now, we go through every issue in chronological order of Starlog magazine. And we have 2 podcasts. One podcast, Starpod Log, we talk about all the non-Trek items and the pop culture that surrounds the era. And then Starpod Trek talks about the articles that are very Trek focused. So it's a fun ride through history. Right now, we're up to 1984.
Oh, wow. That was the first movie, the first new movie with Kirk, and they did that. What year was that?
79 was
That's
the
what I
most
thought.
picture.
78 or 79. Okay, so 79. Wow. They had to, I bet that magazine went absolutely nuts with that first movie.
Yes, there was so much about it, and plus there was a lot before that, because there was the build up. Like they thought they were going to have a new Star Trek TV series, and then they decided to make it a movie, and then back to TV series, and then back to movie. And they didn't know if it would be like a TV movie or a theatrical movie. So there are a lot of changes going on, and so many reports in Starlog magazine that they kept saying, well, now we're going to do this, and but Starlog was great at keeping up with what was going on with it.
Well, and I love how y'all bring that up. And Sue, I think we're at least in the Gen X era. Yes, she is nodding her head, folks.
Well, yeah, we are too.
I'm a Zennial. I'm right on the cusp.
Oh, you're right on the cusp. Okay, I'll let you. Yeah, you're right. You're a good Zennial. We like. I'm sorry, that's a terrible thing to say. Millennials have their place. But as I was saying.
And where exactly is that place, Lee?
I'm not discussing it right now because we're talking about Star Trek. But I am so people are gonna come after me, y'all. I meant that as a joke. I did that on purpose. But I think about it.
Surely was not a slip of the tongue. But go on.
It was the cough afterwards that was just peak.
Yeah. Thank you. I do my bestesses. But that was how we got any of this knowledge, right? We knew nothing about these. And Starlog was a huge one, but how did we find out about movies that actors were going to be in or things that were coming? You had TV Guide for girls.
Parade.
You had you had Parade. For girls, you had Teen Beat. And then each show, especially big shows, and then Star Wars came out, and that kind of re-energized the genre. That was the only way we knew anything. And I find it just kind of amazing as I look back just 30 years and how far we've gone. Now you guys are doing 2 podcasts. 2. One about issues and one about the show and the magazine. I'm going to stop. One about the magazine and one about things that are in the magazine but are not Star Trek. And that's just amazing to me. I always was waiting and hoping to see the Captain Sulu series. I really, really, really wanted that, and I was kind of sad when we didn't see it. So yeah.
The Pal family points out the cons were also some place we got our information to get back.
Oh, that's true.
Yes.
In the
Shout
day.
out-
That is true. Starlight
Shout out to
always
Shore
had,
Leave.
Yeah,
that's right.
Shore Leave?
Shore Leave was listed in it under their convention listings. Every issue they had a list of upcoming conventions. Plus, there were a few articles about some conventions.
Mhm.
Wait,
yeah, it was
I
great for
don't
that
even know
too.
about Shore Leave. What the heck is this?
Shore Leave used to be in Maryland. Now it's in Pennsylvania. And it's
Oh.
been going over, I think, 40 years, I believe. But it's been going strong for a long time. And it is, I would say it's a great local con. It has a very DragonCon vibe, even though it is much, much smaller because it is 100% fan run. It's a great con.
Fan run cons, I love them the most. Yes, John.
Miss Pal family says that they met their prom date at Shore Leave in the 80s.
I love
Oh, that's so cute. Yeah. I remember too. Sorry.
And Jerry does point out that the Millennials place is lifting heavy things like we used to be able to do.
Yeah, definitely can't do that.
I will go with that. Actually,
I had a
Jerry
better
had
reading in my
great
head of that
answer.
line, but yes.
Okay. Oh, Jonathan.
And also Jerry also wants one more question. Wants to cut straight to the chase. How large are the Bell Riot recreations going to be at DC this year?
Queen. Mm-mm.
Well, yeah, they do have something on the schedule about that. But yeah, we were wondering too because we're not a part of that panel.
What was it? It's the Bell Street riots,
No,
right?
no,
the
Bell
one,
Riot.
Gabriel
Bell Riot.
Bell.
Yeah,
From
right.
Deep
The one
Space
with
Nine
Deep Space
episode
Nine.
past
Yes.
tense. Yes.
Yes. And it was I loved it because it was like, well, we changed history a little bit. There's a picture of you. And then they have brought that up in every series afterwards, except Discovery, because they don't they don't really talk about it. But I find I love some of the in jokes that you do have to know before, which is why I was like, yeah, Discovery is a good choice to start somebody on. So yeah. Now, all of y'all, we already talked about, so you got 11. Which tracks are all your, where are you going to be in your tracks?
Yeah, for the most part, my panels are on Track.
Okay.
I've got, let's see what's going on there. We have the Ultimate Starfleet Fantasy Draft, and it's very exciting because Todd Stashwick is also on that panel, Captain Shaw.
Oh
from
my.
Picard Season 3.
Wow.
I guess we'll be fighting over the best officer for each position. I've got a Lower Decks fan panel. I've got Wheel of Trek, which I know we always talk about roll panel for the classics track. Wheel of Trek is very similar. We take suggestions about topics that don't always get discussed and spin the wheel. And a panel of Trexperts talk about it. And I've got the Star Trek Salamander Awards, where we choose the best of Trek's worst. It's a reference
okay. Yes,
to,
a reference
to
to that.
Threshold.
Oh,
Yeah.
that awful start to Voyager. I can
And
remember
then-
Robert Patrick
Duncan
Dennis.
McNeil.
Duncan McNeil. Sorry, I don't know why I didn't have that. He said he hadn't
Neil
watched
Patrick
it for
Harris.
years. Neil Patrick,
Patrick
whatever
Harris.
he was. Who knows? Tom Paris. The actor said, I hadn't watched it for years. And then I did, and I went, oh, yeah, they were right. This was awful.
That episode won an Emmy.
For what?
Makeup.
Okay, I'll give you that one. Okay, they could all win for makeup. I'd be fine with that. But yeah, okay. Hilarious.
But then I'm also doing, I'm bringing back something I did last year, which is exploring strange old fics. And I have done lots of stuff on Trek over the years about fan history and how like the participation in fan fiction helped the franchise move forward and continue. But last year, I actually pulled some excerpts from some of those old fan fictions from the 70s, and we sat around and read them out loud like we were in a terrible Shakespeare class in college.
Yeah.
And it was a ton of fun. We're doing it again, and I'm going to have some of the same ones, some new ones, maybe delve into the next gen era. So,
Yes. Okay. So you're just at the very, very start of when people were doing written fan fiction. That was something else that the conventions let you do, is very quietly pass your zines around, or very quietly have lots of copies of your story, and you'd pass it out to your friends or whatever. So.
Or bootleg all these episodes of
bootlegs.
That never happened. Never happened once ever.
Very quietly pass your zines around.
Oh wow!
Oh my God! Y'all should see this. She's got a folder at least 2 inches thick.
There are 6 of these on my shelf.
Yeah. And for folks a little more older who will know this term, Slash really started with Star Trek.
Oh yeah.
That's all we're saying. Talk to Sue about other stuff. But yeah, so those are the panels you're doing. Mostly Trek. I love it.
Talk to Sue about other things. Looks back up. Talk to Sue about other things.
I mean, you can come talk to me about Slash fic all you want. I'm doing some non-Trek stuff too, but we're talking about Trek today, right?
Now DragonCon.
But you can, you can find her. Look for Sue K. She's the only one, and you'll find her in the app now that is updated. I can't wait. Okay, and Nayar and Kavura, how about you guys?
Zoom panels.
Yes, we're doing several panels. So we are doing the walking tour for all things Trek, and that is where we show people around the con, all the different rooms and hotels that will have something Trek related. And this is a tour that we started last year, and it's very successful.
I love it.
So we were happy to bring that back. Yeah, things like, because the main programming is down at the basement of the Hilton, but then there's also like the Miss Star Trek Universe pageant will be at the Cortland, and they have several other things in other buildings, the gaming at the America's Mart, and so we'll be showing people around the con at all the different hotels and rooms. And of course, and then there's also, the Subspace Rhapsody sing-along that DragonCon is doing this year.
I've heard of that from someone. Who was it that it was Sarah Rose when she was on. Yeah.
Right, Sarah. And everybody that we know is excited about it. So I will be part of that. And I'll be one of the K-pop Klingon warriors. And that is going to be in the Hilton. Yes, it's so much fun.
I just love how you said that, and I just didn't think of it that way. I was thinking like an old 50s doo-wop group. That's much better. Thank you so much for that. I will have that in my head forever. Okay, sorry.
Okay, and we will be doing, we'll both be in the parade. We always lead the Star Trek section of the DragonCon parade, so we're doing that.
Yep.
And we also have a panel on Sunday night. We're doing the Strange New Worlds and TOS crossover panel, showing the similarities and episodes to watch to crossover between Strange New Worlds and the original series. So those are our Star Trek panels. We always do it, at least one panel in the panel room every year. So that's the one there. And so those are our Star Trek panels this year. We're very excited to be back.
I can't wait. And I got to tell y'all, you got a lot of Star Trek guests this year. That's kind of wonderful.
Oh, I know. It must be like the biggest Star Trek year ever. I mean, it's amazing. All the guests from all the new shows, which is so cool.
Yeah, I was trying to think too. I was like, I only think I would have said Star Trek had a bigger year the first year William Shatner was here, and then I went. And then we had a really big Star Trek year when Sir Patrick Stewart was here. So, yeah, we've had some really big Star Trek years, and that's kind of wonderful. Yeah, but the new shows, I'm so happy for them. That's just awesome. And Nayar, didn't you have one other panel you were doing?
I do. The comic book track always invites me back, and this year we're going to be covering myself and a few others, the year in comics 1984. So, and there's a little bit of crossover there because that's the year that DC Comics got the license to have Star Trek comics, and it kind of filled in the gap what happened between The Wrath of Khan and The Search for Spock. And tell you what, I was buying comics in 1984, and I was so excited when that issue came out.
That's wonderful. And, I actually, wow. Because I always wondered how long it was supposedly between those movies and all of that. But yeah. Oh, that's amazing. How long in canon between those? I have no idea, of that time frame. So, but if I read some of these comics, I would, which is really good. And actually, I'm writing down things that are going on my schedule, and I'm circling them and put big stars beside them, by the way. So that's that. Now, why did you get into podcasting? What was it for both of you? And we'll start with Nayar and Kavura this time. What got you into podcasting?
Well,
what
I'm
keeps
actually
you doing it?
both of us are big podcast fans as far as listeners.
Mhm.
And there was a podcasters convention in Nashville some years ago where you get to meet some of the podcasters that you listen to. And
Oh, wow.
I got to meet a couple of my favorite podcasters in real life. And this one particular one, he said, and we started talking. It was a Kiss podcast, actually. And we were talking about
Wait.
collecting Kiss memorabilia and stuff. And somehow we got to the relation of how in early issues of Starlog magazine that Kiss was mentioned. Starlog touched into pop culture to a degree as well.
Mhm.
They said they had things about David Bowie and things of that sort. And I said, do you remember when Kiss used to advertise on the back of Starlog magazines? And we just went on this rabbit hole about how amazing Starlog was in our life. And
That's
he said,
awesome.
look, you and your wife, you have so much knowledge. You should be sharing this knowledge with others. I will help you start your own podcast if you're willing. So
Aww.
it was kind of us being fans of podcasters, but others in the podcast community encouraged us to dip our toe into this world, and it became addictive. And little by little, we
Yes.
started finding out, wow, there's a lot of people, not only in America, but around the world that miss Starlog magazine. Oh, and Japan had their own version of Starlog. It ran parallel to
Wow.
Starlog, but it had different articles in it. So Starlog was, for a certain generation, a phenomena of united geeks worldwide.
Yeah. Yeah. I that's very true. I remember getting some Starlogs, and I remember getting some of the Star Wars magazines weren't as many, but there were so many Star Wars books, all of the tie-ins during that first Star Trek, Empire and Jedi. There were all these books that filled in gaps, and I'm still addicted to that because I got more that filled in gaps from the end of the war to the start of this new one. So there's a great series on that. I'll talk about that later, but because this is Star Trek. So that's really cool. And you just kept going.
We're bitrektual. We like Star Wars and Star Trek. Timothy Zahn has been on our show. We've gotten to the
Nice.
point where so many other listeners have said, hey, I wish I had a podcast so I could talk about it. And so we decided, hey, why not invite you on your show? And we'll have article reviews by others. So it's really a collaborative effort, not just the two of us, but we have people from other countries giving their thoughts about Starlog articles. And we do do some interviews with people like Timothy Zahn or John Jackson Miller, where it's appropriate within the timeline.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And it's so funny when you said Timothy Zahn. I was thinking of him with Star Wars, but he did a lot with Trek. He has done a lot with Trek. And that's it's kind of amazing when you start looking at it that way. And so yeah, very, very cool. And Disney was slow to get into this. Let's have more movies and shows and things of that nature. I dearly remember the Star Trek cartoons, and I loved them. Now,
we love the animated series, the old one from the 70s.
oh yes, that one. Yes, the Star Trek, the old one from the 70s.
Woo.
It is. Oh, and that was the one where they could do characters that they couldn't do on screen because they didn't have the makeup abilities yet, or they hadn't gotten there when it didn't look so bad. Because if you look at the first Andorians, folks, they were scary. You were like their ears, their antennae would like flop.
Well, the Tellarites were the ones that were very rough on the original
Uh-huh.
series. That the pig-like aliens, and they
Yes.
yeah, you could tell it was a makeup job. But yeah, when they did the animated series, then they added regular characters that were
Oh
aliens
yeah.
besides having pointed ears. The other aliens,
Right.
like Mares and RX on the original series. I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, on the animated, and they were such cool aliens. Yeah, a great visual
Yes.
look there.
And very Roddenberry. I think
Oh, yeah.
that's the thing. And I think I saw something that said Roddenberry's his vision in Star Trek was talked about. I don't know if that was going to be a panel or something else. I have no idea, but I saw something on that, and I was like, when you look at those cartoons, it was much closer to Roddenberry's vision than at least the first shows, mostly because the network didn't love them like they should have. They really needed to love them a lot more. So there is that. Okay, so and then Sue, start with you, then go. How in the world did you find and get involved in DragonCon? Because I don't think you're in Atlanta.
I am not. I'm not in Atlanta.
Right.
How did I find and get involved with DragonCon? I was listening to a podcast that was hosted by our good friend Kevin Batchelder.
Yes.
It was the Scapecast before I knew Kevin. And I guess there was a year of DragonCon that the Farscape cast, the whole Farscape cast was at DragonCon. And that podcast team like descended on the con and did reporting from it. And they just kept talking about it. And I was like, this con sounds incredible. And I was like, let me see if I can go check this out. And I booked my room like 2 weeks out and got in an overflow hotel.
Yes,
like,
it's kind of amazing. Yeah.
So that had,
When you
that
look
had
at
to be a
them.
little while ago then.
Yeah.
14 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah,
14
yeah.
years, 13 years. That's kind of amazing, too.
Yeah.
I could call 2 weeks and I got
Yeah.
a great room.
Yeah.
It was great.
And I fell in love with it. Like I didn't fall in love with any other con ever. Within 2 years, I had purchased an Eternal membership.
You got it when it was like 3 digits instead of 4.
It was just barely 4.
Oh, okay.
But it was
just
also
at
a
that
tax
price.
refund. That's where my tax refund went that year.
Probably the best use you've ever had of a tax refund. You've got the
Probably.
most use out of that one. Yeah.
Except I don't use it because I then became an attending professional and a volunteer and a moderator. So,
And a volunteer and a moderator. Yeah.
but
So you're
good
paying
job.
for yourself to be there.
Yeah, I
basically what
really
you're
am.
saying.
Yeah. There were, didn't you remember 11 panels?
yeah. But yeah, within a couple years, I had gotten to be friends with some track directors, and I said, "Hey, let me talk on your panels. I got things to say." And for some reason, they kept letting me back. People keep letting me back.
People keep wanting you back, Sue.
Yeah,
I
Lee
tried
was
to
one
get
of them.
away. I did. I totally used her. Oh, at least 2 panels every time. I keep trying to get away and they keep pulling me back because then you come up with these great panels and ta-da, that's what happens. So Nayar and Kavura, how about you guys? Why DragonCon?
Well, now I, since I told you I've been going since '91.
Yeah,
I'm actually from Georgia, and I lived in
okay.
Atlanta for 27 years. I'm in Nashville now, but
Uh-huh.
yeah. So I always heard about DragonCon, and so I got to go, and just kept going. So I mean, I went back in the days when it was just in one hotel, and since I lived in Atlanta, I didn't even stay in the hotel at first. But when
Oh, yeah.
when I started staying at the hotel, I forgot what year it was, but it was, you remember when you could just call up the hotel and get a hotel room, like no problem. I mean,
Yeah, no, there wasn't this huge mob trying to get one all on their system on one day. Yeah.
right. Now you have to get online and win the Hunger Games and all that. So, but it used to be really easy. So, but because I was already a huge Star Trek fan, going to remember Dixie Trek and Atlanta Fantasy Fair,
Yeah,
sure. Yeah,
those
actually,
cons
yeah.
of old. Yeah, I went to all of those, and so it was a lot of fun. And so I kept going to DragonCon. And watched it grow. It's just the biggest one now.
the funny thing is that some of our listeners jokingly call us professional con goers because we can actually make an honest comparison. We've been on the Star Trek cruise, Star Trek Las Vegas, the official Star Trek convention in Chicago, Europe. But we still look at it and say DragonCon Trek Track is pound for pound the best Star Trek convention in the universe because of all that you get, and you get unique perspectives from the fan panels. The entire experience is nothing else on Earth. So we just absolutely love coming home to DragonCon.
Yeah. I started in 91, and as I said, that was just one hotel. And I just remember being like, there are all these shows I watched and movies, and everybody will talk about them for like ever. I was in heaven the first couple of years. And I was just like, this is great. I'm not the only crazy that likes the X-Files and things of that nature, because the person in the toilets bother me. I've got to say this though, John, when they were talking about when Kiss did ads in the back of Starbucks.
Wait, we're just going to let the toilet thing slide? What did you say?
Okay, in Tombs, there was a guy that
I followed.
See, you followed. You didn't follow, John?
No.
It's an X-Files reference, sir.
Oh,
and it was really gross.
The conversation.
Yeah, sorry. It was.
Okay.
Yeah, I was saying when I first started, and that.
And by the way, Lee, I'm a huge X-Files fan, and I love what you have done in the years past for X-Files fandom.
Thank you. I love X-Files. That is still other than I would say Trek and Star Wars, that was my first real fandom. That was when the internet was starting. I got really into the internet. And that's when you had to call in when it went or whatever it was. But as I was saying, John.
Well, Jerry points out, because I'm going to keep changing the subject. Jerry points out, so now Lee is XX track.
Yep. Yes, I am.
And she can't go back because then she would be triple X track. Which they won't allow at DragonCon.
That could be an after. That could be at night panel.
Yeah, at least not before 8:30.
Not before 8:30. Yes, at least not before 8:30. But John, you got all excited when they said Kiss used to put ads in the back of Starlog.
Yeah, I just thought it was cool.
Were you a big Kiss fan? I want to hear this.
Big Kiss fan, but I am also a child born in the 70s. So
yeah,
I mean.
And a guy. They had both fans, but the guys really loved them. Women just thought the guys were cool with the makeup. So, or some women.
Wait. Never. Okay, let's get back on track again.
I'm sorry. Let's get back on track. So I'm going to be quiet now.
Let me ask. And again, I'm sorry if I mispronounce your names, but Nayar and Kavura, is that right?
Nayar and Kavura. That's close. That's okay.
What are some guests or topics you're looking forward to at DragonCon this year?
I'm looking for like the return guests like Anson Mount and Ethan Peck. I mean, they're so great to see, and they seem to be coming to DragonCon every year, but we still love to see them.
Mm-hmm.
And
this year they can talk about the show. Yay!
That's right. Yeah, right. Last year, like because of the actor strike and nobody could talk about their shows, it was a very different year.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're excited this year to see them, and I really want to see the Lower Decks people. I mean, I can't believe that show got canceled. It was so awesome.
It would be like The Simpsons and be on for 30 years or something.
When did this get canceled?
When did it get canceled?
A while ago. There's one more season coming, and they're releasing it. But
yeah,
I didn't hear that it was canceled. I mean, I've been keeping up with it, but I didn't.
I don't think it was canceled. I think it was not renewed.
Okay.
But
right,
that's it. Thing, and so so they said right now they said they're not making any more, but there is one more season to be released at some time.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of my favorite episodes of Strange New Worlds was the Lower Decks.
The crossover.
Because I was like, there are very different times in how art, but then I should have known. Time travel.
And they
Oh,
did
good.
that so well because Lower
They
Decks is
did.
such a, a silly show, and they kind of made it so they made it a little more serious on Strange New Worlds, and
Mhm.
but they actually did it. They made the characters mesh, and it just
Yes.
worked out so well. That's another thing that would be great to hear the actors talk about too.
Mhm. Yes, I think so because you know, a lot of those actors were huge fans, and
Mhm.
so that's very very cool too. So awesome, awesome. Um, now I'm looking at the time. Okay,
Well, Sue, what about you? Who are you looking forward to this
yeah.
Well, I am a big Dr. Crusher stan. So anytime Gates comes back to the convention,
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
she's my girl, number one. So I will go to anything that Gates McFadden does.
Works for me.
Outside of guests, I always, even though it's not fully Star Trek, I always like to call out the late night puppet slam, which is sort of a Sunday night not quite end of con, but end of con tradition for me since it
Mhm.
started. I love the puppet slam so much.
And you can go to the masquerade and then get in line to go to the puppet slam if there's space.
Mhm.
So just for you, just for people who need to know. Yeah.
Be prepared to be in line if you're going to go to the puppet slam.
You
though,
will be.
if you don't get there early enough. So.
They have done an amazing job with the puppetry track. I just, yay! All that is so cool. So cool. Okay. So, John, is it that
Yes.
time?
Yes, I think so. So we like to play
Yes.
games with our guests. So we're going to play we're going to play Jackbox. We're going to play bracketeering again. Let me give you, if you look at the private chat, you will see the code as soon as I put it in there.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I got to find my
There it is.
stream.
Those are all capitals. So if each of you on any device that you have handy would go there, and once they've got that set up, I will allow our studio audience to fill up the rest of the spots. I gotta share the
Excellent.
screen here real quick. I probably should have been doing this earlier, but
I swear, if this bracketeering is all Star Trek, I'm gonna laugh myself silly.
It's not. And you know what?
Oh.
I have to. Well, okay. Well, I didn't turn family friendly on again, so
Oops,
we'll see how that
oops.
works out.
We're gonna hope. Keep your answers family friendly, folks. How's that for an answer? Yeah. Because John's already had to bleep me once this year. And
Jerry
I
says,
don't
warning
do it
for
anymore.
some, the late night puppet slam is also occasionally part of that.
Not
It's
occasionally, always.
Not occasionally. Always. I just remember that was the thing I saw on Avenue Q was when I saw that, if you have seen Avenue Q on the stage, it's just, those puppets do a lot of stuff and you're just like, oh my goodness. Okay. So we are here.
So we're here. So the Jackbox code is 0. Sorry, no, it's OZAO. And Cav is in, and
What?
Nayar, if you want to join too, you can play. There's plenty of spots in here for everyone.
You can have 2 or 4 or whatever.
I think we're doing it together.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, that
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah. I wish I had another brain to help me because sometimes I can't come up with good ones.
Trek, not track. It was. I bet it was probably me. That's.
Oh, who knows? Who knows? All right. And at the end of this, so though, for some people I know, if you're listening in your car or wherever else as a podcast, not watching it, some of you stop listening at this point. But so before we go forward, and we'll do this again, Sue, pimp yourself out, you and your websites and stuff out.
Sure. So we didn't really talk about it on the podcast,
Oh.
but I'm also one of the admins of the DragonCon newbies groups.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
yeah, you'll find me on Thursday and Friday doing the tours and the Q&As for the newbies. And you can find that group for all of your DragonCon questions at facebook.com/groups/DragonCon newbies. For my podcast, if you want to hear me go on and on about Star Trek, check out womenatwarp.com.
Mm-hmm. I listened to that for a really long time and then I got away from it because I don't listen to podcasts as much as I used to. But it's wonderful, folks. Listen to it. And now I got a new one. I'm going to listen about the Starpod log and all those. So yes, Nayar and Kavura. How about you guys? Pimp yourself out.
We are on Blogger. You can look up Starpod Log and Starpod Trek, 2 different two different podcasts there. And we're also on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Awesome. Very cool.
There we go.
And find
Very
us
cool.
on Facebook under we're on Facebook. We also have a group for our podcast, Star Pod Log and Star Pod Trek podcast, and we're also under Nayar and Kavora. That's Nayar and Kavora,
Yes.
and so you can friend us as well.
That one is under that. And that's how I found you, because I couldn't find the business card you gave me. Which actually looked like those little cards you used to like get with bubble gum and stuff, which I thought
Trading
was
cards,
brilliant.
which yes,
Trading
and if you
cards,
see us at
yeah.
DragonCon, we might be giving those out. So ask for them.
Ooh, ooh. Okay.
All right.
So John, we got people's.
Right? You guys can hear
Yes.
the audio now, right?
This is bracketeering. I'm sending the topic of our first bracketeer devices now. The easiest thing to forget. I can't remember what I was going to say here.
Where's mine? It's not coming up.
By the way, you can join the audience and play along by going to jackbox.tv and entering the room code.
Pal Family mentions that their middle name is, I always get this wrong, Nichelle?
Nichelle.
Nichelle. I always get the accent wrong. Nichelle, after Nichelle Nichols. She said her mom didn't watch Trek, but there were so few on television that she saw her on Jet and Essence magazine.
Time's running.
That's, I guess why the name.
Oh,
Your
very
answer.
good.
My middle name, by the way,
Cleared off
coincidentally,
into
is Kirk.
one-on-one
So there you
matchups.
go.
That means it's time to introduce ourselves to the prediction
But
table.
had nothing to do with Star Trek.
On your device, you'll see one of the upcoming matchups for this bracket. If you can predict the answer that will get the most votes, you could win some sizable bonus bucks. Oh, and don't forget, if you don't think your own answer has a chance of victory, you can still grab some cash by predicting the correct winner.
Or also you find one funnier than the one you put down. Because one of those I got was really
Running
fun.
out.
Sarah wants to point out once again, Subspace Rhapsody Picture Show is Friday,
Time's up at the
5:30, the
prediction
Hilton
table.
Grand East.
Let's dive into our first bracket.
Love you, Sarah.
Love you, Sarah.
All right,
I thought I'd see this matchup.
easiest
Use your
things-
device to vote on
Oh my
which
God, it's
you
just on
think
the first
deserves to win.
Easiest thing to forget:
The
ADHD
votes are not
meds,
coming in
laws,
very quickly.
where your DragonCon room is, or algebra equations.
The clock is running out on voting time.
ADHD meds, laws, where your DragonCon room is, or algebra equations. Algebra
Sweet
equations
Dog, we
wins.
have a winner. Predicting that correctly pays off.
I'm a little
I've got to
surprised that
remember.
Next up,
ADHD meds or
Nope.
anyway. Okay, so my cell phone number, what size shirt you wear, clean socks, what I had for breakfast. The easiest thing
no
to
one
forget.
thought it would be this close.
My cell phone number, what size your shirt, what
Will
size
we see
shirt
a
you
final
wear,
push?
clean socks, what I had for breakfast. My cell phone
Back
number
and
is the
forth
winner.
they went.
Yay!
What an upset. No one saw this one coming.
Sarah says it's the first time she's been allowed to say the time and location.
Let's see what tensions are mounting over in the Omega Conference.
Ooh, Omega Conference.
Okay, easiest thing to forget: where the con suite is.
Could
Guilty.
this be a blowout?
Where the gold is, how to make hummus, or your keys.
The con suite is not that hard to find, y'all.
It is.
really
John
not.
thinks it's a
Brigadoon
mystical
to me.
freaking It is a
Just
freaking
run
mystical
out the
unicorn
clock
to John.
now.
You
Unless
can
I am
see
holding
it from
his
the
hand.
lobby.
I've
Unless I'm-
stayed
That
on the
was
literal
ugly.
floor where it is and still did not figure out where it was.
Looks like this one
That
was
is no joke.
obvious.
That's not a joke.
I
gotta hold
stayed
his hand.
directly above it one year.
With this vicious matchup.
Oh, that might have sucked. The easiest thing to forget: how to spell cemetery. My keys. Whoa!
The lead
Whoa,
keeps
who stole my
changing
keys?
hands.
Hydrating at DragonCon or phaser. Easiest thing to forget: a phaser,
This one's
hydrating
looking
at
over.
DragonCon, my keys, or how to spell cemetery.
That
think
win
that's how you
was
spell
so
cemetery.
big you could hear it the next state over.
Hydrating at DragonCon wins.
Some players just came up empty. Before we get on to round 2, it's time to make another prediction.
And I will just say this: if you're forgetting to hydrate at DragonCon, that's because you're not looking around. There are water stations everywhere.
Let's jump back
Hydrate.
to the bracket for round 2.
Algebra equations
Both of
versus
these answers
my cell
barely
phone
made it
number.
past the first round, and one of them isn't making it to the third round.
Easiest thing to forget: algebra equations or my cell phone number.
A real tug
Is
of
it
war.
my cell phone number or their cell phone number that the person that wrote it?
A real tug of war there.
Algebra equations wins.
I want one person to name me when the last time you used algebra, if you are not somebody who uses math as a career.
We're just one match away from our finals.
Come and tell me.
I mean, Excel spreadsheets are
This
just
is a big one.
formulas.
But they do it
What-
themselves.
Where
But
the
you have to
con suite
rate the
is or
formula.
hydrating at DragonCon? Oh, sorry.
The easiest thing to forget, sorry, we were talking where the con suite is
Or
versus
hydrating at
hydrating
DragonCon.
at DragonCon.
That's
I will
okay. You guys are
defend
starting your own
algebra.
podcast.
Stupid algebra.
Decisive victory.
Where the con suite is wins with 89% of the vote.
John, that was for you.
And now we finally decide what is the easiest thing to forget.
Uh-oh.
Red Nerd says, which I believe is Brandon, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Says a lot of women forget my cell phone number.
This
Oh.
Algebra
Alright.
equations or where the con suite is. Easiest thing to forget. Algebra equations been running away with it on the,
The
East
struggle
Coast
is real.
bracket.
Wow.
And now it looks
This
like where
one's
the
looking
con suite
over.
is beating it 8-1. The underdog.
we have
Wow.
our first
Where the
winner.
con-
That was
suite
the
is.
underdog. Wow. Very cool.
That was Brandon that wrote that.
Very good, Brandon. Awesome.
That
Jules
was
will do
one
the first.
hell of a bracket. Let's see how the scores shook out.
No.
Brandon's in the lead with Lee and Will right behind.
Woohoo!
Behind. Oh, Cav, you guys are all doing fine. That's okay. Okay.
I can't even read that.
It's time for the blind bracket. We start with just a category. Name any city you think no one else in the game will type in. Enter your answers now.
Name any city you think no one else in the game will type in. Now, there's a blind bracket, so this is not actually the question you're answering.
Yeah, we have no idea what
You have
this
no
answer
idea what
will
the
be used
actual
for.
answer is, or what the question is. Category.
Hopefully it will be
Category is the word
family
I'm looking
friendly.
for.
Hopefully it will be family friendly, John.
Best city to in.
Yeah, something like that.
That's
You
what we
never
got
know.
the other day. I forgot to push family friendly. I think it was time though.
Yes.
Let's see what this bracket is really about. Best nickname for a soldier in a war movie that's totally gonna die. It's true what they say. This game is heck. Time to get in those predictions.
Okay, best nickname for a soldier in a war movie that's totally gonna die. There.
Why isn't mine showing up?
I don't know, Lee.
You
User error.
broke it, John. No.
I
The
think.
predictions are in.
How'd you press
Let's
a button
see
then,
our
Lee? If it wasn't
first
showing up,
matchup.
Lee.
I figured it out. I have to refresh it.
Des Moines, Paradise, Harrisburg, or Vancouver. Best nickname for a soldier in a war movie that's totally gonna die. Paradise is in the lead. No surprise, to be honest with you. Harrisburg,
Just running
Actually-
up to the clock now.
Paradise 8-1 over Harrisburg.
Clear winner there.
That's gonna be like an early death that's really gross.
Our next matchup. It's a
Tucson.
bracket like this that truly makes this game the sport of kings.
Trafalgar. I can never pronounce Trafalgar. Findlay.
Yeah, Finley.
Findlay.
I don't know.
Helsinki and Tucson.
Only 2 seconds left to
Findlay
vote.
is Findlay.
Out of the smoke emerges a winner.
Is that a city? Findlay?
I have no idea.
Or is it Findlay? Which is a completely different city?
Let's see what's happening over on the other side of the bracket.
Next door to Paradise?
This matchup was bound to happen.
Gnawbone, Cincinnati, Bozeman, Montana, or St. Elsewhere. I mean, come on. Well, I'm glad
those are
Gnawbone's
so
winning,
cool.
but St.
I am on
Elsewhere,
the edge of my seat.
it's almost in the name.
This one's looking
Gnawbone is
over.
winning.
You know what? Now I'm going to look up where Gnawbone is. I'm assuming
Was a
Alaska.
slaughter.
If it's a real city.
If,
I never
no, they-
specified it had to be a real city. There's to be a city no one else is going to type in.
It's time to round out the bracket with this vicious matchup.
Barcelona, Beirut, Lebanon, Madrid, or
Potential
Hamburg.
winner starts to
I don't know.
emerge.
Best nickname for a soldier in a war movie that's totally going to die.
It's
Hamburg
really
seems to
going
fit.
back and forth.
Madrid, Beirut, Lebanon,
This
or
one
Barcelona.
seems like it's over
Hamburg's
before it's
winning
done.
with Barcelona and Beirut.
Like
having one
falling off a log.
Can't you see this character like eating a hamburger in a cafe and
No,
then
you
all of a
just
sudden
need
the bomb
round up.
under the.
Okay, never mind.
Before we get on to round
bomb
two,
goes
it's
boom
time
under
to
the
make
table.
another prediction.
And
The
we're in.
predictions are in. Let's jump back to our bracket for round two.
Paradise.
So you know it should have
versus
been
Finland. Go
it
ahead.
should have been best nickname for a red shirt. That's going to die.
That's pretty true. Think about it that way. That's a good way to think about it. You saw those red shirts that didn't have a name, and you're like, they're gone.
It's a city.
Right.
It's a city in Ohio. City of
Just
Paradise?
Clock
Finlay. Finlay.
Mhm.
Findlay.
now. Get out of the way.
I just don't know how it's pronounced. Is what my problem is right now.
Ah,
But it doesn't matter because Paradise
Everyone
won.
bets on
Nobody
the
ever
favorite
remembers the
and cashes
Findlay of the
in.
past.
One more match to determine our finals.
Paradise versus Gnawbone versus Hamburg.
This matchup was bound to happen.
Nickname for a soldier in a war movie that's totally going to die. Gnawbone or Hamburg. Have you determined if Gnawbone was a real city?
I'm looking it up.
You know
This
that.
one's looking over.
Oh, it is a township in Indiana.
A regular job.
Naba?
Yeah. 2 words, but yeah.
This
it's-
final matchup will determine what's the best nickname for a totally
there we
doomed
go.
character in a war movie.
So Indiana is where Chris Whittle and Gabe are from. Oh, okay. That's where they're from. All right, so Paradise versus Gnawbone. Paradise versus Gnawbone, and we got Paradise up. No, Paradise is down 5-1, 6-1. Now it's 2-5, 5-3 to 6, 6 to numbers going back and forth. Gnawbone is winning 6-3 right now.
You only got 3 seconds if you want to change your vote.
Gnawbone
This fighter is
wins.
unstoppable.
Gnawbone is a real place, and Chris confirms they live there.
Let's take another peek. at
That's
this
an
game.
awesome, Chris. That really is. I could have sworn Alaska. Okay.
Okay, let's see. Brandon's still in the lead with Gabe behind, and Will still in 3rd place.
And now for the bracket you've all been waiting
All right,
for.
the final bracket,
triple
folks.
blind bracket. This bracket will change every single round. Here's the starting category. Name any app on your phone. Who knows what crazy twists and turns this bracket will take?
Any app on your phone. Does phone count as one of the apps? Because, I mean, that's all it is at this point.
Really? How often do you really use it either?
If it's being used, it's usually because I'm in trouble. I can't think of any other time. It's either I'm speaking to somebody that I absolutely need something from, and they're not answering me, or
Time's
somebody's
running
calling
out.
me to give me some bad news.
I think I only use it for
Let's
talking
see
to my
what we're
family.
dealing with
Yeah.
the app that knows you the best. Time to get in those predictions.
Okay, so the app that knows you the best is the first
All
switch in the
cash is
category.
doubled this round, so make these choices count.
So if anybody put Facebook, Google, or just any app, they all know you.
The predictions are in. Up first,
Grubhub,
can't believe I'm
DragonCon
seeing
app,
this.
Taco Bell, or Uber. The app that knows you best. The DragonCon app is currently out to a big lead. Grubhub and Taco Bell,
Oh, no, wait.
not too far behind. I mean, Taco Bell.
just
It could be
right
any of those.
Yeah,
It could be.
it is.
DragonCon
Who
app
knows
wins.
them? Something
Except I didn't know that third one. The one with the S.
knows.
56% of the vote.
Woo!
Moving on to our next matchup. It's weird that this is my job.
DragonCon app's in this bracket as well. So we got Lyft, DragonCon app, Grindr, or Pokemon Go. DragonCon app and Grindr are currently
This
winning.
one's looking
I mean, is there really a difference?
Yes.
There are certainly some who use them in conjunction.
That's true. Oops.
DragonCon app wins again. Well,
An
it's fun to
easy
see who
bet
wins
that
between
pays
DragonCon app
off.
and DragonCon app.
That will be good. Which one?
Well,
Why don't we see what's
everybody
going on
typically
on
has
the
a different
other side
version
of
every single
bracket?
day. So
Oh, it doesn't get more contentious than this.
Misplay, Facebook, Slack, or Zoom are over here in this bracket. Misplay, Facebook, Slack, or Zoom.
An
Facebook
upset in the
currently is the app
making.
that knows them the best.
Not on. I didn't give it.
This one
I
seems
didn't
like
give
a
it information about me. It just took it.
Correct.
Stupid
On
hot
Facebook,
potato
no, you
sticks.
started by giving it information about you.
My name, man.
money.
My
if you
name and
get
my
it.
email.
That's all you needed. Name and the image. My name, my image, and my social
It's
security
time to
number.
round
My
out
name,
the
my
bracket
image, and my
with
social
this
security and my
vicious
telephone
matchup.
number. The app that knows you the best is Venmo, Instagram, DragonCon, or Calculator. Venmo, Instagram, or DragonCon.
Just running out the clock now.
People are so damn happy that app is updated. That's awesome.
Ran away with that
6
one.
to 1 and 1 and 1. 63 or 67% of the vote, rather. DragonCon, by the way, since I didn't say that.
Let's switch up this bracket. App that most deserves its own movie. Get those predictions in now.
Oh god.
Yeah. So let's see. Is it the DragonCon app or the DragonCon app that deserves its own movie?
Actually, there are two. There are two answers.
Round two.
DragonCon app or DragonCon app? Which app most deserves its own movie?
Y'all just tie this one up. Just go half and half. That way, somebody wins it.
It's really going back and forth.
That way, somebody wins it. Yes, somebody.
Well, that
wins
way.
it.
That way. Well,
You,
no,
you
that
just
way
want to tap
it's.
off. That's all. You just want to tap off.
Shut you. Yes, exactly.
The DragonCon app
DragonCon
won.
app
Not
won.
surprisingly, I predicted it from the very beginning.
Oh my.
I just don't
This
know
is
which
hilarious.
DragonCon app it was.
Y'all so happy.
It's the one with
Oh,
the
yeah.
space in it.
Yeah.
This could be the answer to beat, but let's check out the competition.
Facebook or DragonCon? Which deserves its own movie? DragonCon or DragonCon?
A clear frontrunner.
Smacking down Facebook. Which, by the
Facebook
way,
already has a movie.
As a movie. Exactly. Thank you. That's what I was thinking.
Well,
I don't
DragonCon does too with the documentary.
Oh, that's
4
right.
Days of
That is-
DragonCon. Yeah.
Before it's
That's
done.
when it was 4 days. Yes.
Yeah, we need a new one.
That makes that makes me an old get off my lawn person too.
7 days at DragonCon.
No.
No
Don't you and
surprises
John get together.
in Front.
Swear to God,
One
it's gonna
more
be 4 Dragon
change.
Cons.
Most necessary app for your survival. I hope your answers still make sense. And now the
I think
definitive
to our
matchup.
audience they do. So we had the DragonCon app or DragonCon, which I assume is an app. DragonCon app is winning.
Overwhelming support already.
Oh, but now DragonCon's coming back. Now it's just going back and forth because people are having fun pushing the button back and forth.
Buttons. Back and forth and back and forth. People like buttons.
Running out the clock now.
DragonCon app 8 to 1, most necessary app for your survival.
This was
DragonCon
a
app.
big win.
Sue! Wow.
Sue won that one.
You
Oh
read
my.
the room, didn't
Did
you?
any of that?
So did the rest of the room.
So did the rest of the room. Except me. So, yeah, all good.
Ugh.
Brand's in third, Gabe's in second, and Sue comes from behind to win.
Wow.
Congratulations, Sue.
Yay, Sue! Way to go.
Woo!
And there's no prize, but yay! Sue. We don't got a budget. This is, John, I'm still saying, this is a lot of fun. But Lord help some of them questions, especially in the blind rounds. So, yeah. Well, this has just been awesome. Thank you both for being here. Okay, Sue, go first. Where can people where can people find you on the
You didn't even
interwebs?
leave, by the way, so you can come back.
Womenatwarp.com. That's where you can find me on the internet.
Right. And it's awesome. And she has
Thank you.
stickers.
I do. I have stickers. I have buttons. I have a bunch of merch that I'm bringing that I don't want in my
Ooh.
apartment anymore. So find me and I'll throw some stuff at you. Did I break Lee? I broke Lee.
No, when you said that, it went up my nose. I was drinking my Kool-Aid and it went up my nose. I'm sorry. Okay, so Nadar and Kavura, what about you guys?
We are on Facebook. So we have the Starpod Log and Starpod Trek Facebook group, and we have the Nayar and Kavora account where you can friend us and listen to our podcast on Blogger, Spotify, or anywhere you listen to podcasts.
And
I'm
are
gonna-
you guys listening in the app or no?
Yes, we are. We're separately. So there's Nayar on the app and Kavora. They are under the professionals.
All right, cool. So people can look for you at DragonCon by just searching on their name. So that's great.
Yep.
All right. So thanks once again for joining us. We really appreciate you taking time out of your busy day and getting prepared for DragonCon. I'm sure all of you have plenty of stuff you're still going over and still packing or whatever. But until next time, for Nayar, Kavura.
Kavura.
Yes.
Kavura, I apologize again for.
If you listen to our podcast, Nayar mispronounces everyone's name.
Okay, well, good, excellent. So Nayar,
That'd
Kavura,
be great. We can go on that one. That'll have a lot of fun. Okay. Yeah.
Sue, and Lee. This is John saying until next time, peace.
Live long and prosper. And bye.
This was a production of the Unique Geek. Call our comment line at 813-131-0TUG. That's 813-131-08884. Email us at theuniquegeek.com or 50 days at theuniquegeek.com. Follow the Unique Geek on Facebook and Twitter. This podcast is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Share Alike license.
Subspace Rhapsody Picture Show is Friday, 5:30 p.m. at the Hilton Grand East.
And I also, that's good. And I will also tell you guys, if you're doing any of those like little packets that you put in water, they do not feel good going up your nose or trying to come out your nose when you're laughing because you've just taken a sip. Just FYI.
Thanks, Lee. Bye.